So you rode all the 390s, the three.
I rode the X and the SW back to back to understand the bracket ends of the range, because we've ridden enough of the 390 adventures to know that it's not a very impressive motorcycle and it has these pros and cons.
Okay.
The idea is, can the X improve upon those, and does the SW give some advantages over those?
Awesome.
Now, the 390X is a great purchase within the 390 adventure line because it's a heck of a lot cheaper than the middle model.
Right.
60,000 rupees is a amount of cash that you could take for a tour around the country. Right. So should you be buying the old model of the 390 adventure? Anyway, we never recommended it that much. But now I'm saying, just don't buy that. Either buy the SW or buy the X. Okay, I'll tell you why to buy the X. The electronics that we've removed, the only one I think could possibly have been useful is cornering ABS. But to do that, you bring the IMU back. If you bring the IMU back, traction control comes back. So I understand how they made that choice.
Right.
You've got ABS. You've got no other electronics to mess with. And some people are going to say, Arey, the TFT screen would have been better than the LCD screen because it now has a 250 adventure style LCD screen. And I'm saying it's a great trade-off to make. 60,000 rupees is not money that you can...
What about tires? That's generally like one of...
So that is one of the points. There is a change in the suspension spec as well. Okay, so the X has slightly inferior suspension to the base model. That's one cost saving. And instead of the Karus, I think, on the base model, now they've got MRFs on the X. Okay, now I think what has happened is that they tried to approximate the settings they were using on the base model, but this inferior suspension unit can't reach those stiffness levels.
All right.
And the MRF's sidewalls are also, I think, less stiff than the Karus. So in the process, they've got a better ride quality setup than the base model almost by accident. Honestly, I rode it, Rishabh rode it in road situations on a relatively bumpy, busy highway as well as a relatively empty ghat, and we didn't notice a massive difference. But since then and now, Zigwheels has been testing the bike, and we were on a call with them just trying to understand what's going on in their lives, and they were saying they did notice a difference, especially over the biggest, sharpest of bumps.
All right.
But the key thing is that because the tire is flexing so much, it is able to absorb the small undulations, which, if you remember, when we did the highway back-to-backs together with the Duke and the Adventure, our complaint was your head never stops moving. I think the X, because it has inferior equipment, has actually solved that by accident.
So what you're saying is the cheapest one is probably doing as good a job as the most expensive one on road with the adapter.
Oh no, I think the X is actually the better bike than the SW, because the SW, remember, has tube tires.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, right.
So here's the thing. When you ride the SW, the stock settings of rebound and compression at the front and rebound at the back is exactly the same as the non-adjustable model.
Okay.
So whatever you hit a bump and it sort of wants to kick the handlebar out of your hand, it does all of those things.
Did you take it off-road?
I don't think of this motorcycle as an off-roader, honestly. So I will never take it off-road in that sense. If you were to take a Pulsar 150, a Shine 125 or a Aerox off-road, you'd get roughly the same result. Okay. It's not an off-roader. Let's be absolutely clear about it. Yes, I know you guys are using it for off-road and full power to you, but it's not genuinely an off-roader. It requires a completely different mindset. And I promise you, wait till 2025 when the updated 390 Adventure comes, then you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
And we'll be getting more off-roaders in between from...
I'm saying in 2 years, the 390 Adventure will be a KTM adventure as KTM's adventures go, not this half compromise.
Right.
And one-to-one, you will see the difference in off-road ability. And at that point, this argument will end itself. In the meantime, yes, we'll discuss it in the comments for sure. The problem with the SW is the clickers are super easy to reach. So you can actually change rebound and compression as you move. And I think about 4 kilometers later, 2 clicks rebound less, 2 clicks compression less, it already felt smoother.
All right.
Now, I don't remember the exact setting I used because I messed with it for that entire 130 odd kilometers, I think I was. But you did find a better setting. One issue that they've done is that the rear rebound requires a screwdriver to adjust. So you have to basically find a tool to do that. And I physically see the limitation because the shock is so large that it fills up the entire space. There's no place to really put a clicker on the shaft, which is the normal way to do it. But if you adjust the rebound, you can also find a better setting at the back. So given 1.5 months of consistently focusing on what the suspension is doing, you will take the SW to an even superior comfort place than the X. You will, for sure.
Okay.
The problem is, I think of the SW as a model that will make a tourer's life easier. So you want to put a pillion on it, you want to put luggage on it, you find a great comfortable setup for the both of you. I think you will be able to do it.
Correct.
right? But now you have spoke wheels to deal with. Who really needs the spoke wheels? The guy who's going off-road. In that environment, I can see the advantage of the bendability and the repairability of a spoke wheel. But now that I've got a comfortable bike, I have to suddenly deal with punctures where the wheel has to come off and all of this drama has to happen. It makes no sense to me.
Actually, a lot of the people that I end up asking what they do with the 390 Adventures, the top answer is touring.
Exactly. So to me, the off-roading ability of the 390 is not only compromised, it is also incidental to the big picture. Because I promise you, 1,000 of you have those bikes. Did they sell 1,000 yet? If there are 1,000 of these bikes out there, maybe 25 go anywhere close to seriously off-road and maybe another 50 go mildly off-road, for which you could take a stock bike and do it. You won't need much effort because it's not even like it's got great ground clearance or massively great suspension movement, right? So from that perspective, the idea that the top model has spoked wheels to me is detrimental to the idea. And I think KTM should just have said the base model, which is only 22,000 rupees less than the SW, remember, also gets adjustable suspension. The SW is another 10,000 rupees more and you have the spoke wheel option because I'm a hardcore off-roader. So the tourer has the perfect bike. And the guy who wants to go off-road also has a bike more attuned to his purpose. But KTM once more has done this strange thing where the smallest use case now gets, okay, serious equipment, but the biggest use case is still one step short of that.
We hope you enjoyed watching that, and there's plenty more where that came from on the main MotorInc channel. Please do catch us there and do like, share, and subscribe.